Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. It's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic, and we're going back to one of the oldest routes. Well, not the oldest, obviously, because that's like Great Western Main Line and things like that, but one of the oldest routes for Train Simulator, way back in the Railworks days, Falmouth Branch. Even on Steam, this route came out in 2010. It was published on Steam in 2010, so that gives you an idea how old this is. 12 years old. In fact, the career scenarios have an interesting little quirk with them that I'm going to show you later on. They still run. I've tried it, but they still run. But the quirk you'll see when I get over to that tab. I did look up the information listed on Steam for this DLC. There's actually a bit of an error noted here. It doesn't note all the locomotives that come with the route. 3 locomotives come with the route. Those are the, I'm going to get the names right. I'm going to get the 5700 pannier tank, the Class 4900 Hall, and the Falmouth Docks and Engineering Co. Loco number 3. I believe that is the saddle tank that you see highlighted in the Harbor Haulage right here on my screen. I believe that's the saddle tank in the in that third one. The other two, obviously, the pannier is this one, and the Hall is this one, obviously. This scenario does not come with the route. I'm trying to remember if this was a workshop download or if I got it from some other pack. I don't know offhand. I think it's a workshop download, so I'm going to have to look that up on my list later and see if it shows up in my workshop listings. But it's not included with the route, and I don't know if I'm going to actually do that as part of this series. So since it's here, it would allow me to fill out 2 weeks very nicely. So I might just come around and do that after I do the official scenarios. I might just do that. But these other 3 scenarios do come with the route, and we're not going to worry about these other railfan stuff. These are for different routes, obviously, so don't worry about any of this. This is completely separate. The Falmouth Branch line, I don't have a lot of scenarios actually installed for. I'm going to have to see if I can actually... I'm actually a little puzzled by this. I think the other scenarios I've installed are all career scenarios. So there's not a lot of standard scenarios. All the scenarios are over on the career tab. There, for example, the large prairies or small prairies, I think it is. One of those comes with scenarios for this route. They're career scenarios. You're going to see them only on the career tab, not on this tab. So we actually are on the standard tab right now. And the first 3 scenarios are going to be a good introduction because they're quickie scenarios. We're going to get to see everything on the route, and you're going to get to take a look around the route with me. Now, I've already explored this route. I want to remind you I have been to this route. It was the first route I visited. So it's kind of like I'm coming home in that sense. This is where everything started. Now, the first route I actually did videos for, that I actually recorded videos for, was Suburban Glasgow, but I made that the second route I published. The reason for that is because I came up to this route right here, which is the enhanced version of the Falmouth Branch, and I just did a couple scenarios on that first. Now, the funny thing is about this, that I actually did this one using a different Class 101, but unfortunately my edit for the 101 is no longer on my hard drive because this was the hard drive that got wiped. Not wiped, it got screwed, like it got to no longer boot. So this is the original version of the scenario currently sitting here. I cannot drive it with this 101. But the 101 version that I did drive is available on the Steam Workshop. That is for the enhanced version of the route. Obviously, I did the 111 scenario in that set as well. Those are the 2 scenarios I did. I'm going to eventually come back and do some of these as well, but I want to do the original route scenarios today, and that's what I'm going to focus my attention on for this next... I'm going to say probably the next couple weeks, depending on any other announcements that show up or things like that. So I'm going to try and do this for the next couple weeks here. This, of course, may change if things come out, but we don't know when Dovetail Games' schedule is. They only announce things at most a couple weeks in advance, so we probably won't know until... and it's possible that they could announce something while I'm waiting to publish this. If that happens, I'm not going to know now, but I may know at the time this publishes. Nothing I can do about that. I just don't know now. And if that does happen to be the case, then I'm probably going to cut this out and move that other item in here anyway, even if that is the case. But in any case, let's stop talking about the future. Let's talk about it now. Falmouth Branch. We're going to do... Now, I've got 3 scenarios to select from. Harbor Haulage, the Dawn Shift, and the Maritime Line. So one thing I forgot to mention is that on the Steam page it says that there are 5 career scenarios. There's only 2 career scenarios that come with the route. Those 2 scenarios are called Branch Business and The Little Things Count. On the DLC page, they've labeled the difficulty for each scenario. You can see that this Harbor Haul is listed as a 4. It's considered medium. Medium? Okay. And these are considered beginner level difficulty. So we're going to start with the beginner level difficulty ones, and I figure that because we already saw a haul on West Somerset Railway, the best way to ease ourselves back into the Falmouth Branch is on another haul. So we're going to take the 4900 class, the Class 4900 GWR haul, Great Western Railway, This route is set in 1955, so you're going to see things looking a little bit dated. The updated version, I think, might have... I think it's still set at an earlier date, the updated version, but I don't know if it's 2000s. I don't think he's active right now, so I can't really ask him. But, Chauberk, that is. But, whatever the case may be, this one is a 1950s era route. One of the scenarios... both of these scenarios take place literally in the months before my father was born, which is kind of telling you a little bit about how old he was, and therefore how old the area that is being represented is. We're talking like 60, 70 years old. So, which I'm dating myself a little bit now, but without revealing too much information. But, yeah, that's what we're dealing with. So, let's go into the Maritime Line scenario first. It's also the shortest of these three scenarios that come with the route. We're not counting this 20-minute one, obviously. But we're going to take control of the Cornish Riviera Express on this rare occasion that sees it take in the sights of the beautiful Falmouth Branch line and docks. Let's take a quick look at the scenario. The Cornish Riviera has been diverted down to Falmouth after stormy weather at Penzance has diverted cruise liners elsewhere, which should be one word. Pilot this express train down the tranquil and sedate Maritime Line. Apparently they're trying to quote Maritime Line. Okay. So we're going to bring the HUD up. We're going to look at the task list. We have an arrival time. We need to get moving. Let's get the brakes off. Let's... oh, we have to pick up passengers here. Start here. Pick up passengers. Pick up passengers. Don't make that mistake of not picking up passengers. Okay, that was close. I almost left without passengers. So we're going to make our way to Falmouth up. We're going to do a straight shot. We're not going to be making any stops along the way. It's just an express service. What is that? Oh, hi. Okay, that's what we're seeing. Good. Good deal. I'm gonna stick my head out the window because I like doing that. We're going to watch this train as we... oh, we can get going now. Let's move. Good idea to move. Who is that? That's a Falmouth local. Good to know. So since we're dealing with a steam locomotive, naturally we need to worry about how our steam is used. Now I'm going to bring up the F4 HUD for this purpose because we're going to be able to see the water, which is 59% of, or 99% of our... water. We've already used some of our water. We have, you can see I'm using the automatic fireman. I can't touch any of these buttons. Automatic fireman is going to take care of all of this for us. So we're not going to worry about any of this. We just have to worry about the fact that it's there and we can watch the numbers. So you can get an idea how the auto fireman is doing it if you want to try and do it yourself. And maybe you can do it better if you're an expert. I'm not. Look, we'll accept that. I'm not an expert. So we have to arrive by 11:59. It is a half-hour journey, so this makes sense. This makes perfect sense to me. Let's put some more regulator on so we can use this properly. So we can leave at 30 miles per hour. We're going to get to the point that our steam is going to start getting wasted now, so I'm going to have to move my reverser down. Or maybe not. I thought it would be, but maybe it isn't. I love how the signal in the other direction went down to show green as I passed. That is actually funny. Legitimately funny. So 60 is our speed limit. We're going to be moving straight into a 30. We're going through the tunnel leaving Truro. Now, if we consider the fact that we are on the line between Penzance and Exmouth, right, or Exeter right now, Exeter St. David's. So we're on the line between Exeter St. David's and Penzance. We're going to be leaving the Cornish Main Line, which is this part of the line, and we're going to be continuing, as you see on the lower signal being green. That's showing that we're going to be continuing on to the main. Now we're losing our steam. Let's bring our reverser down. It's going to show that we're going to be continuing on to the other line, and that's the line we're going to be taking today. Try not to waste too much of our precious steam here, you know? Beautiful. And, yeah, there's a river. You can see the Cornish Main Line heading off to the left there, and I didn't mean to do that. Let's get back outside. Let's actually look at the signal over here. We have signs on the other side. Cool. Let's take this turn for a while. So being a steam engine, you don't see a lot from inside the cab. Naturally, that's why I'm doing this external view as much as I can. We're on an uphill, by the way, which is also going to challenge our speed, so we have to keep a full throttle applied while we're doing that. Do I need more steam? I'm trying to experiment with where my steam should be, but I seem to be losing a lot of speed on this uphill gradient. So this train is not pulling me uphill as much as I would like it to. Let's look inside the cab here for a minute. We'll look on the other side of the cab as well. Oh, there's a bit of a view. That actually does have a bit of a view. Cool. You can zoom in on this sucker, and there you go. The uphill is really murdering this train. Oh my. The uphill is making this very challenging. Ooh, who's that? Oh, that's a sign. Okay. That is a signal. I thought I saw a person hanging out by the line for some reason. Back in the cab. Let's go to the other side. There we go. Let's stop this uphill, please. Holy cow. Yeah, this is really eating at our... I can see why it's a half-hour journey with no stops, because this is really eating into our speed right now. We're going to have a nice downhill after this, so we're going to be able to get that speed back nicely and try to maintain speed. But right now, we've dropped under 20 miles per hour, which means we're looking at quite a decrease here. Very unfortunate. But also very normal. Heading back to this side of the cab. Can't really see much over here either. Where are we going? Ah, also a nice view. Nice view of the men at work there. There you go. Water is being added to the tank right now, it looks like. We're about to enter a tunnel after we go under this bridge. This is where things are going to start leveling out. You can actually see the gradient is now even. So we're actually starting to gain speed again now that we are on an even keel. This is a major, major improvement for our purposes. Let's look outside the cab here as we enter this tunnel. And I'm going to head back into the cab because we're going to lose our external view. We're going to have to be forced to stay in the cab for a while here. So here we are staying in the cab for what's basically a blind journey at this point. I'm going to lower our regulator down to a much lower value now that we have made it to the top of that major hill. We're going to gain speed on this downhill anyway. We're going to actually need to put some brakes on here. So I'm trying to hold some brakes on this. I'm putting some pressure on. Remember, the brakes on a steam locomotive are done by pressure applied via that little brake that you see moving there. So I'm getting it to, I'm down about 17.8 pressure right now. That's going to hold me, I should actually move it up to, I'm going to release it because I should go up to 30 or 40. I should get closer to 40 in case I have another uphill. But I'm doing a test of the brakes as well to make sure I know where the brake power will put me as I actually put the brakes on. So it's good to do that while we're still under the speed limit anyway. Emerging from the tunnel. Now I'm going to reapply some of that pressure. It's a little too much pressure for me. Get to 17. Oh, no, 17. That'll do. Got a field going by here. Brake pressure on because we're starting to get towards our speed limit. We are going to release it as we get to the bottom of the hill. because we are going to need to try to get our speed all the way up to 40. There may be a slight speeding here. That is perfectly acceptable in a non-point scoring scenario. I will take that if we need it. Our ETA is currently 1 minute early, or a little less than a minute early. There's a 30 coming up. We're going to need brakes now anyway, so regulator off for a moment. I did not want to put that much brake on yet. There's where I want to be. Let's do a small brake application. That's perfect. That is perfect. So we're going to come down to 30 as we enter the station here. Let's look from over top. Actually, let's look from the window on the side. That's a better view. You can see that signal is green. That is an advanced warning of the signal ahead. If it was horizontal and yellow, we would know that we were not allowed to enter the station. But that being green and down tells us that we can go through Perrinwall platform. Perrinwall up platform. I am now losing a lot of speed here. There we go. I did not take the brakes off as I came to the bottom of the hill. That was an oops on my part, but we're going to go ahead and maintain anyway at this stage. Because we are coming to a 30, we're going to then move back into another fresh 40. And I think we're going to have another opportunity to gain speed before we do any more hills. Which is very, very helpful. Hills are pretty much the bane of a steam engine's existence. Electric trains and diesel trains get a lot more power on them than a steam engine does. There's not a lot of steam engines that get a lot of power. I think the Mallard is one of those exceptions, like that kind of model. A lot of those exceptions, because it's the world record holder for steam engines, I believe. We are losing speed again on a little bit of an uphill, so I put a high throttle setting on for now. Looks like we're taking the secondary track here as we go through Perrinwall. Now as I look ahead here, you can see that we have a green signal. So we're going to proceed. No issues. We're also gaining speed now. Let's hold our throttle there for more regulator. I keep calling it throttle. It's called the regulator on this type of train. There's the sidings here at Perrinwall. I want to look on this side. Nope, I don't see any signal telling us anything different, so we're just going to keep going. It's a single track. Perfect. We can now start increasing our speed again, so let's increase up to 40 miles per hour. We're coming to an uphill, so let's get that up as much as we can, as quick as we can. We're going to need it. So a quick little bit of chatter about the line history of the Falmouth Branch, or as we now know from the hint in the menu, or in the text description, the Maritime Line. Let's make sure we don't cross past 40 here. The Falmouth Branch is sometimes referred to as the Maritime Line, and it's a railway that runs in the valley of the River Fal, F-A-L, from Truro to Falmouth on the south coast of Cornwall. That is, of course, the route we're on. We're at 40, so let's not speed past that. We're about to enter an uphill. We're going to lose a lot of speed anyway. Going through another tunnel, so I'm going to actually have to hop in the cab when we get in that tunnel. Let's do that now, so we're ready to go. Ooh, you didn't change at all. Fantastic. So the route was built by the Cornwall Railway Company. It consisted of a broad gauge 7-inch and 7-foot quarter of an inch line from Plymouth to Falmouth. The purpose of the scheme was to, they refer to it as a scheme, was to link London with Falmouth, from where packet ships sail to destinations in Europe, Africa, and America. The section from Plymouth to Truro opened on May 4th of 1859, and the inhabitants of Falmouth soon put pressure on the company to extend the line to their town as originally intended. That opened on August 24th of 1863, but by then the packet ships had been diverted elsewhere. Much of the speed, going well. Much of the West Cornwall Railway was converted to standard gauge in 1867, but the Truro to Falmouth line tended to be operated as a branch, with the trains from London Paddington operating Depends instead. So trains typically didn't come down here. I think today, on today's timetable, if you look at the schedule there, I think it's a class 150 or 158. I want to say 150. That actually does services down this line coming from Truro. So it's actually a 150 doing these services now back and forth. Long gone are the days of the steam engines on this line, unless you have a random rail tour going on. So you might have something like that going on, where you might be able to take a steam engine as a luxury one day on a weekend or something. So the branch remained, or sorry, the original stations on the line were at Truro, Perrinwell, what's known as Perrin, Penryn, and Falmouth. Penryn was added on July 1st of 1925. What is going on with my speed? I need to gain throttle again. So that's when Perrin was added. Falmouth Town, originally known as the Dell, opened on December 7th of 1970. And the line terminated at the Dell for 5 years before reopening to the original terminus at Falmouth Docks, I guess that is. Falmouth Docks. The branch remained roughly the same until the modernization program in the 1920s began some upgrades, including a new station at Penmere, a realigned station at Penryn, and a few slight tweaks to the route. 4 of the timber viaducts were replaced with stone ones, while the other 4 were replaced with embankments. 2 of them were built for double track, which is very interesting. Now there's a lot of other information about the route here. I'm going to talk more about that next time, because I want to save some of that for the next video as well. But that's a little bit about the route. The train that we are driving, as you may remember, is the Hall locomotive, the 4900 Hall, similar to the one we have on West Somerset Railway. The Great Western Railway 4900 class, or Hall, is a 460 mixed traffic steam locomotive designed by Charles Collett. 259 were built, and they're numbered, from the 4900s to 5900s, 6900s. The LMS Stangier Class 5 460, which is also known as the Black 5, and the Thompson Class B1, which I also have in Train Simulator. Both drew heavily on design features of this train. And we're going to see the B1 at some point as well in the future. After nationalization in 1948, British Railways gave them the power classification, obviously, of 5MT. So a trial run, what was basically a trial run for the first 14, got dispatched to the proving grounds of the Cornish Main Line, and they basically excelled in every way possible on the Cornish Main Line. So they were so successful that a whole bunch have been ordered, the final one being delivered in 1943. So that's how old these trains are. 1943 was the newest one of all the ones that we have. We have a 30 mile per hour coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce my speed down now. If I can, I'm going to have to put some brakes on, so let's put some brakes on. Put some brakes on. This is Penryn. This, as I said, is one of the newer platforms on the line. I need more power on the brakes, please. I want brakes. Thank you. Trying to do a career scenario where speed is involved is quite a subjective thing, because it's hard to know how that you're speeding on a steam locomotive. It's really hard to know. So I find it laughable that we can be penalized for speeding in a steam locomotive. What do you know? Of course, it's harder to speed in a steam locomotive. We won't talk about that. Now, it's going back to these trains here. All but one of them entered British Railway service in 1948. Number 4911 was the one exception to that. That's the Bowden Hall. And the reason is because it took a direct hit during a bombing raid on the Plymouth area in April 1941 during the Second World War, I believe that would be, and ended up being broken up. Withdrawals began in 1959 with the St. Martin as being the first one, I believe, that was withdrawn. The mileage on this is incredible, by the way. In total, it accumulated, in both original and rebuilt form, it accumulated 2,092,500 miles. It was a very, very well-traveled locomotive, very heavily used. And that shows you how good these locomotives were for British Railways. Very, very neat little bit of information there. Over 2 million miles. And amazing if you think about it. Okay, so our downhill is pretty much coming to an end. I'm releasing all my brake pressure at this point. You see we still have green signals here. Given the time we have to arrive by, we better have all green signals. We're on another downhill, so we're going to apply some brake pressure again just to make sure we don't go too fast. We're entering a 40 anyway, so I'm going to let it off in just a second anyway. There we go. As we let off the brake pressure, let's take a quick look at the viaduct that we're crossing here. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful sight. This is your, well, this would be the screenshot if I got it in time, but I didn't, so there you go. So let's get back into the train. Oh, we're going to need to gain some speed on this uphill we're entering, so let's put some throttle on. I was able to keep the throttle off for a while on the downhill because this is kind of like an up and down type of route. Still got a lot of water in the boiler. Still got a lot of coal in the stoking the fire. We're also 2.5 miles away from Falmouth, which our current speed means we'll be there in about, I want to say 4 or 5 minutes in that range. That's actually even earlier than our ETA. Actually, our ETA has moved back to 11:55, so we are being very efficient today. I'm going to have to keep an eye out in case we have a signal up ahead that is set against us. That's the only possible concern I have for this journey. So we're going to check out both windows here and watch for an advanced signal that tells us what to expect up ahead. Ah, this one is green. We are still good to go. We are clear. We are very, very clear. We're doing excellently right now, which is excellent. Let's take a quick look at the what we're hauling today. We have hello. Whee! Okay, let's zoom in a little bit on our train here again. We're going to go ahead and zoom in a little more. Thank you. Let's not hit the bushes, please. Thank you. Let's do it from this side. So we're going to head back to the back of the train. You can see we have just a bunch of coaches. It's not freight. It's actually a coach passenger service. So we got seven cars today, and for some reason we were speeding. I did not know we were... I did not catch that we were on that kind of a downhill, so that's an oopsie on my part. That's what I get for trying to show you what I'm hauling. Excellent. That's what I get. Wow, that's an oopsie. We have a red. Oh, no, never mind. That's a double main signal. That's a double main. We're going to be clear. I'm misreading that. I thought that was a distance signal, but it is actually a main signal, so we're good. So we're going through our last platform here. We're getting ready to come in at Falmouth, so we need to slow down for 30 here. What do you mean I have wheel slip? Okay, apparently I was able to put so much brakes on that I was able to cause wheel slip. The brake was not staying where I wanted, unfortunately. So, again, we're not being penalized for it in this scenario, but it shows you how finicky the wheel slip can be on these locomotives. We have to be very careful with it when we slow down. We can't apply full brake pressure or the wheels will slip. It's like when you put 100% brakes on in rainy autumn weather on a diesel engine. Excuse me. You're going to get wheel slip. It just happens when you try and do too much brake power too fast. So it looks like the speed limit coming in the station is only 30 miles per, actually I shouldn't say only, is a whole 30 miles per hour. I'm not sure I like that. I'm going to actually bring that down a little bit. Actually, I'm already doing that. I'm at 20, so I'm kind of already doing that. If we check the route ahead, we can see that everything does appear to be set for us here. And by the way, yes, this is the full route here that you can see. You can see a heavy dock area over here that we're going to be using in the future, but this is just the main route otherwise. Then here's the part that comes in from the yard and from the Western Main Line area itself. I should say from the Cornish Main Line. So that yard is really the thing that is of interest in this scenario. We're going to be taking a saddle tank around that yard, I believe. The saddle tank is going to be used for good purposes. Do we have a advanced signal here? I want to know. I have not seen an advanced signal. Can I see it? Can we see an advanced signal, please? Anyone? Okay, we have no advanced signal. This is good to know. We can just go straight ahead, apparently. Let's get on top of the train for this. Oh, hi. Let the people at Falmouth know we're about a half-mile away. We're entering the 30-mile-per-hour segment coming up. We have some coaches and a siding up here. We have beautiful, beautiful big houses, which were a lot cheaper back then, and also not fitted for technology like they are today, assuming they are. We have a green signal. We are junction into the up platform, which is where we want to stop. That red is for a different track. That is not ours. That signal is our green. Now we're going to hop back on top of the train. We're going to go ahead and watch the train come into the station from the side, because I think that's just a better view for watching the train come into the station. Let's zoom in on a little bit. Well, we're going to hit this train, so let's not do that. In fact, for the purpose of stopping the train, we're going to go ahead and get our side view back out. Here we go. Don't do wheel slip. Are you serious? You know what? It'll do. It'll do. I didn't do that clearly and properly at all. But let's go ahead and just put a little more speed up on the train. We're going to go ahead and pull forward just a little bit. So we have the time, let's just pull up a little bit more. That was not a very proper brake at all, and you know what? It's a steam engine. We're going to make mistakes on steam engines. You're more likely to make mistakes on steam engines. Who is that? Well, that's a very old style thing they're wearing. That's cool. So we are now fully on the platform. I'm just letting the train coast to a stop, but I'm going to go ahead and apply the brakes anyway. So let's open the doors now, and we're going to call that a day. Okay, that's that. Let's apply the rest of those brakes, and what do you mean wheel slip? We're not even moving, you dummy. We're not even moving. Let's look at the train. So I'm going to say the wheel slip is a bit of a buggy thing there. I think it was like that on... Hello. I think it was like that on the West Somerset Railway Hall as well. We actually had a wheel slip while I was stopped. And even while I was moving, I had the brakes fully off. I was still getting wheel slip because a wheel slip bug occurred on the hall. So I think the bugs must have carried over from this model. And never were fixed, unfortunately. So not much we can do about that. They were never fixed. And I'm sure that there are people out there in the community who probably have created fixes for these. I don't have those fixes yet. So I can't really comment on that. But in any case, we're going to try the pannier next time. Because I think that pannier is the next logical choice here. Before we do some shunting around the yard here. So, what do we have here? Is the scenario finished? Oh, here it is. Well done on arrival at Falmouth. That's that. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned next time for another run here on the Falmouth Branch. And next time, if I remember correctly, the name of the scenario we're going to be doing is going to be called, let me see. It's going to be called Dockside, I believe. Unless that was the one I just did. Yeah, I think I just did Harborview, and I think Dockside. You know what? We'll figure it out next time. I'm actually giving you the wrong titles. I'm giving you completely wrong titles. It actually looks like there might be more career scenarios that I have no idea about on this route. But in any case, I'll see. I'm looking at... Yeah, I was looking at a different category. I was looking at free roam. So next time is probably the dawn shift, actually. The dawn shift. See you next time for that. I'm Cycling. Have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. See you next time. Video starts in 3, 2, 1.